Ladies and gents, welcome back. A little more than 48 hours after Jagex initially released a blog post detailing a new group boss, they have changed everything. Okay, I should clarify that I'm talking about the rewards here, but so much has changed, including a total rework of the weapon reward that had the community just feeling a little bit... I covered the rewards from this group boss in the last video I did, but a few things have been cleared up since then. Let's get into it, starting with the Duelling Wand. Originally, the Duelling Wand was meant to have its own unique spell, built into the standard spellbook that you could auto-cast using this wand, quite similar to the Iban staff. It was going to operate on a pretty crazy 3-tick attack speed using its built-in spell. And this built-in spell was going to be Earth-based. I kind of said that this was Jagex's way of saying like, here you go guys, here's your Earth weakness starter kit. Because we already knew that with the upcoming NPC defense changes as part of the whole big project rebalance umbrella, that elemental weaknesses were going to bring some huge buffs to the standard spellbook, like earth spells gaining a 50% damage boost against metallic dragons. But instead of this, we somehow ended up with a wand that just had a spell of its own. So I got it twisted with the Dueling Wand being, you know, akin to a powered staff. It wasn't quite that, but my point still remained. You know, it fit the role of being this incredibly niche situational weapon perfectly, but didn't quite feel reflective of a reward from a boss that Jagex want to encourage groups of players to take part in. Jagex have decided to do a full 180 on the Dueling Wand. The 3-tick attack speed and unique spell are gone. Boom. Vanished. And instead, this weapon will just be able to auto-cast spells from the standard spellbook at a normal speed of 5 ticks. I know what you're thinking, but Scritic, isn't this now just like a worse version of the Master Wand? Yeah, it would be. Except the Dueling Wand now has Dragonbane. This is honestly huge. This is our first magic Dragonbane weapon, which now comfortably sits in this little combat triangle of Dragonbane weapons. If you don't know, all of these weapons have the Dragonbane effect, which just means that they're really effective against draconic creatures. So don't get me wrong, the Dueling Wand will still fit a pretty niche role, but will now be really effective in more places, like Olm, Wyverns, Hydra, Chromatic Dragons, and hear me out now, we might actually see a viable way of using magic at Vorkath. I'm just saying, you know, in before, all right? Switching the Dueling Wand up in this way really does bring back that incentive to use the standard spellbook, which I think the previous version of this weapon just was kind of avoiding, to be honest. So that's great. It kind of fits what they were originally intending to do with it. And not only that, but when those NPC defense changes come in later this year with Project Rebalance, it's likely that this weapon will be even more powerful. Dragonbane weapons are historically quite expensive. So I'm going to be really interested to see where this Dueling Wand levels out in terms of value. The reason that this change is even more interesting though is that the boss we get it from, I'm not going to try and say the name again, but you know, this guy, it has now been classified as a draconic creature. So the Dueling Wand is already going to see some really good increased effectiveness in the place you get it from. But also I guarantee we continue to see the trend of the Dragon Hunter crossbow and Dragon Hunter lance go up in price after this news post comes out about this, as they will realistically be the best weapons to use against this new boss until you get the new wand. I'm not going to go over the details of the fight with the boss. I covered that in my last video, so check that out if you want a quick rundown. I'm just going to cover some of the other small changes that were made, and this next one in particular, I'd like my community's opinion on this. Now, the Tome of Earth isn't going anywhere, but Jagex have said that they want to rename the pages that go in the book. At the time of the blog post, they were called Muddy Pages. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's like clashing with other item names in the game. Whatever it is, Jagex want to change the name. They've already been quite firm in not going for soiled pages or poopy pages. Not really sure they'd be on board for brown sheets either. But I think we can come up with something. If you have a suggestion for what Jagex can call the Muddy Pages, stick them in the comments below and I will pin the most popular one. That's totally going to confuse anyone who watches the video and doesn't watch that point. They're just going to see names of dumb shit. I can't wait. I can't wait. The only other notable change is to the prayer regeneration potion. First up, it's worth clarifying this because I did see some comments on the last video, but each dose of the prayer regeneration potion is going to last for 8 minutes and restores 66 prayer points. So while that seems like a lot, it is a long period of time and you won't be able to stack the doses either. So taking a new sip of the potion will just reset the timer altogether. However, the bigger change in the prayer regeneration potion area is that people were originally a little bit confused. You know, we've got this herb lore activity that was just announced a few weeks ago. Why isn't the new herb lore potion coming from that? And you know, Jagex made a really good point about this.
I mean, secondaries do come from monsters, like that kind of is reasonable, but we have an idea.
The new group PVM boss is going to drop a seed for a new herb, and the secondary ingredient for the prayer regeneration potion will come from the new herb lore minigame. So Ranar potions, unfinished Ranar potions are immediately off the table and they won't be needed anymore. It's a really good incentive to try both pieces of content as well as weaving in an actual use for farming, as we find with PVM you can just bypass that skill altogether. And something that took us all by surprise was a suggestion that Jagex saw on Reddit. And this was a use for the scales that will come from this now draconic boss. And that would be a ranged prayer set. Similar to Proselyte and the ancient robe sets for magic, this would be the ranged equivalent, and I think that's really interesting. Now, I don't know if that's fully confirmed yet. I know the blog post will be out sometime next week, so we'll wait for that, but that was their idea they put forward, and I think it's a good one. So far, all of these changes have been really positive in my eyes anyway, but unfortunately, we didn't get to see what any of the cosmetics or the pet would look like. However, Jagex did hint at some potential cosmetics. One of the suggestions that a community member put forward was a Slayer Helm transmog similar to the ones we already have, except it's styled in the way of the new group boss. Honestly, yes. Give me some of that Crash Bandicoot style Slayer mask. What have I got? I need that. Short and sweet update for you guys today. So if this was helpful for you, if you've enjoyed my content, if you want to see more and you don't want to miss it, please remember to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all the things that just help the channel out and support me massively for free. So thank you guys for doing that. And I will catch you all in the next one.